Hello, everyone, and welcome to RMD, All Things Aesthetics and Wellness podcast with me, your host, Dr. Deborah Durst. So I have a few guests with me in the studio today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. In the meantime, I want to tell you just a little bit about me. Again, I'm traditionally trained MD, ER medicine for greater than 25 years, and ventured into the anti-aging wellness industry about 10 years ago, a little bit over that. And then just have developed all kinds of solutions to comprehensively helping people feel and function and look younger. And so today we're going to talk about chemical peels, and I'm going to introduce everyone, and then we're just going to have a kind of free flow conversation about it, and we're going to let Marissa lead the way. But Lori, do you want to introduce yourself? Sorry.
Sure. I'm Lori Naples. I live in Ohio. I'm a remote patient of Revitalize MD and Dr. Durst, in for the week to get some things done. And I am so happy to be joining you girls today.
Hello, I am Marissa Staten. I am the medical esthetician and laser technician at Revitalize MD. I've been in the cosmetic industry since 1999 and in the medical aesthetics since 2009.
Marissa's going to lead the way with a lot of this today. We're going to ask her lots of questions. She's got a ton of experience.
We'll throw some tidbits in there. Right.
That's right.
I am Meredith Wallace, and I am a skincare specialist at Revitalize MD, and I've been with Dr. Durst for about a year now.
And your skin is amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, all of you.
Put my makeup on at 4:30 this morning. Don't look at me.
Wow. Well, I want what all you girls have, and that's why I'm here. And I'm Michelle Silva, local news reporter, DJ, and a curious patient.
Yes. Yeah. Michelle's learning a lot about some of our services through the podcast, right? And we're going to do a little bit more of that today with chemical peels. And even I need to, again, learn over and over again, because I will, kind of refer back to even the laser sometimes with dialing in or going deeper with certain peels. But again, there's an expense with laser and sometimes, even a downtime. And so chemical peels are still a great go-to. And so if we were to talk about like beginner level peels. So Michelle, have you had any
Never had
peels?
a chemical peel.
Okay.
I mean, I think the only thing I've had done to my face is I've had facials and I've had Botox a couple of times.
All right.
So I wouldn't even know what a chemical peel is.
So you're newbie to
I've
all
heard
of
of
it.
it.
If you were to look at Michelle right now and recommend some peel options, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys have that conversation.
Absolutely. Chemical peels, or I wouldn't say a woman's best friend anymore because that's, diamonds and O-shots. But that being said, it's the next best thing until you get there. But a chemical peel, you can call it a controlled burn, but basically it's where I get certain ingredients such as or chemicals that are going to be trilachloric acid, which we refer to as TCA, salicylic acid, citric acid, resorcinol, many different acids, and apply it to the skin for benefits of anti-aging, melasma, pigmentation, if I didn't say sun damage already, fine lines and wrinkles, dullness, brightness, acne scars. There's so many different reasons to do chemical peels. We have anywhere from red carpet peels or lunchtime peels with no downtime to medium depth chemical peels that, there's a little bit more downtime, where red carpet peels, there is no downtime for most people unless it's maybe their first time or they have extremely sensitive skin. But as far as Michelle, you've never had a chemical peel before, we could always start with the red carpet because there's no downtime. But I would want to know about your skincare regimen. Are you using retinols or doing any other laser treatments, which you said that you had not or are not currently. So red carpet's always a first place to go. You can go there, know how your skin's going to react, baby step it in. Okay, let's jump it up. Do as your main concern pigmentation, sun damage, fine lines and wrinkles. Okay, we can go rather to advanced corrective peel if pigmentation is more of a concern, or we can stick with something like the 20% glycolic acid or a 15% trilachloric acid, or just bump right up to a
So if you're
3-step
not
peel.
too confused. Not at all, right?
I can't be concise. I'm sorry.
Lots of different options, lots of different levels of those peels as well that we can offer. Like even with our red carpet, it's going to be mild for most everybody with little to no downtime, but we can do 1 layer of that acid. We can do 3 layers of that acid. Everything that we do can kind of be, even though it's a certain strength of an acid, like a 5% or a 10% or 20% or 30%. And obviously those acids increase in strength as the increase in percentage goes up. So we can also modify the layers of the there's not one size fits all. Obviously, everything that we do is going to be very individualized for that person, depending on what you're doing, what your history is, what you put on your face the past few days before that. So we can do 1 layer, we can do 2 layers, we can do 4 layers, just depending on, because we don't know necessarily how you're going to respond, but we can cater every single peel that we do to whatever you're looking for, whatever you want, and then try it once, and then maybe in 4 weeks we can go again and do it a little bit stronger if it's not quite as much as you wanted, or you need a little less, we can downgrade it. It's great because we really can customize a lot of that, even though we have our standardized red carpet, we have our TCA, we have our 4 or 5 different ones that are kind of our standard ones that we do on a regular basis for certain things, but we can definitely customize those, which makes it really, really nice.
What is the process like though? I know I've undergone a facial. I know what, they go in there and wash your face several times and put different, would you say, moisturizers and so forth, lotions on your face. But what actually is a chemical peel?
I think if you were even to say, again, if she's never had a chemical peel, like what does it do? Like we've talked a lot about,
Downtime,
like,
basically.
No,
What
like
to expect in the room.
or even like really, what is it doing? Like relieve,
acid
like
is
taking
doing.
taking off layers of dead skin cells, that kind of thing. And what is it used for? Like for me, I get to the simple, like it's a resurfacing. For me, it's like a sanding down of your skin
That's
to
a
just
really
make
good-
it shiny and smooth. And if you look at Marissa and Meredith, who start chemical peels at a young age and are doing something every 4 to 6 weeks, their skin looks amazing, right?
Amazing.
Bright. There's no pores. There's no fine lines. And so they're on that preventative maintenance of every 4 to 6 weeks. And if we're a little bit older and just starting, how do we get there? What is it doing for us? And again, I'm always kind of the sanding down, resurfacing, but it's taking dead skin cells. So just from a basic, and then even what is the red carpet and what's in it specifically for my purposes, because I always forget which specific acids are in them.
Instead of saying sanding down, I would say that would be more of the scrub. But what it's going to do is stimulate cell turnover. So as I said earlier, being more of a controlled burn, which some people don't like to hear it that way, but it is
No, that sounds
loosening
painful.
up.
It is.
Yeah, it could
It's an
sting.
acid.
Some
so
of
in
them
turn,
don't.
Right.
Some of them don't. If we're going to red carpet, maybe a little tingle, a little itchy feeling. When you get into some of the other ones, yes, they're going to kind of sting or burn a little bit. That's what it's supposed to do.
More effective though.
It's more effective and it penetrates deeper. It's going deeper into the epidermis, loosening up the cells so they will peel off. And when you peel that off, you're peeling off that layer of skin to the newer, fresher skin. So it's going to brighten. It will help shrink pores a lot of times, although I would prefer to leave that category into lasers and laser peels. But it will help with that, and it's going to help lift pigmentation. Some of the peels will focus on that, such as Advanced Corrective is the best one for lifting pigmentation, and melasma and sun damage. So it's going to lift that to the surface. Temporarily for a few days, it would get a little darker, and then it would just peel off over the next few days. And while you're in the room, it'll sting a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
But
some
then
are
it
worse than
takes a
others.
few days for it actually to work,
run its
heal.
course.
And then I don't have to wear base anymore, foundation.
There'd be a series probably, but you would love how your skin feels. So, and you would actually use less foundation, probably because you would have gotten rid of that dead skin. So it's going to go on smoother, wear longer, and need less of it. Sunscreen. tinted sunscreen. You'll be transferring over to that instead of a liquid foundation.
Now, you mentioned fine lines as well, too. This is chemical peels can help with that. Now, why or when would I get a chemical peel versus Botox for, lines and wrinkles or
They
what?
do two different things. They complement each other. Think of the Botox or neuromodulators actually relaxing the muscle that create the line. So you're getting it from in the skin or the depth. And then the chemical peel is going to help sand down or smooth out the skin. So as far as neuromodulators, what you're doing is think of you get a piece of paper and you have a line in it right here. And you try to flatten that out. That will always be there. Mm-hmm. You can put heavy books on it. You can iron it out. It's still a weak point in the skin or in the paper. So neuromodulator is going to help preventing getting more of those. Whereas the muscle that creates it. Whereas chemical peels and other products are going to help smooth it out. Mm-hmm. So you're buffing it all the time, buffing it.
And I almost consider those both like a resurfacing type of issue or finishing, like a finishing product. So Botox, again, you have all those dynamic movements. We're lifting up our brows, we're smiling, and we're getting movements of crow's feet around the eyes. So we want to prevent that dynamic movement so that the lines aren't forming. But if we can flatten out the line before the Botox treatments, and again, Botox being a verb, and how many times I say that, meaning that there's all kinds of different products and we do all of them. But before we do that treatment and you have crow's feet around and I can take a wrinkle line and flatten it out, then I'm going to get rid of it with neuromodulator or Botox treatment. But if you don't, then you have to sand those down and refinish. No matter what, even if I can get rid of them, we want to get rid of dead skin cell. We have layers and layers on. And so a lot of times if people are dry or people are oily, it's really the fact that they have a bunch of dead skin cells packed on. And so essentially the skin cells that are active underneath can't even breathe and function because we're just moisturizing for dryness. So, if we're doing regular stuff like exfoliating cleansers that take things off, but again, those chemical peels are removing all the dead skin layers. And so doing that every 4 to 6 weeks and turning over healthier skin cells every 4 to 6 weeks gets you results in skin smoothness and texture of Marissa and Meredith, right?
And strengthening strengthening your skin for the next step.
It's like the neuromodulator, just like you were just talking about. You have to think about that being under the surface, because you're really, even though it presents itself on the outside, it looks like, you're just smoothing out wrinkles. You're really just freezing the muscle underneath the skin. It just looks on the outside that you've literally just stuck it right through the skin, but it's the muscle that you're actually freezing. So it gives that appearance of actually having really, smooth skin, but that doesn't do anything for the resurfacing. Mm-hmm. So you've got all the dead skin cells. If you're not scrubbing and you're not doing peels and you're not doing laser resurfacing and things like that, all those dead skin cells are just piling up on top of each other and creating more wrinkles, and more texture that you have to eventually, smooth out, get rid of, exfoliate, be done to be able to have smoother skin, be able to use your foundation, go on smoother, use less of it, all of those things to have that brighter, thinner texture of the skin, that has a healthier, younger appearance.
And it sounds like something you don't want to, say, buy at the drugstore and take home and do. Do they have even home kits like that? Because I think I've heard of some friends experimenting.
I think you can probably find almost anything on Amazon, honestly. But do you want to do that? No, because you want a specific peel that is going to target whatever your issue is. So whether it's acne, there's certain ones, and again, we can talk about that might be better for acne, or things that are better for pigment, for sure. There's definitely ones that are going to bring out the pigment better. So there's different strengths. And again, this is probably my weakness in knowing how but again, grossly, you're talking about a lactic acid peel being very mild, where a TCA acid is a very, or can be very strong, or it's definitely deeper than a lactic acid peel. And in between are salicylic acid, glycolic, all of that. When we're talking about red carpet, which is a very mild, and even a glycolic can be, what does a red carpet peel have in it again, as far as acids in general?
Usually it's lactic acid or citric acid or both. The stimulator peel from ZO Skin Health has citric acid, a small amount of glycolic, and lactic acid. Whereas, and I would consider it red carpet as well as a lunchtime peel, no downtime. Whereas the Skinceuticals micro peel sensitive has 2% lactic acid in it. So also equally mild. Probably less brightening than the stimulator peel, but equal as far as red carpet or lunchtime peel.
Again, so why people wouldn't want to, they don't even know how to gauge their downtime with that. So again, if you want to look brighter and have your skin that feels amazing prior to an event, those are perfect peels to do that, because it's going to lighten, it's going to brighten, but you're not going to have downtime. Where if you're ordering something that you're not familiar with, that you don't know the company, you may end up with a lot more downtime than you think you're going to have.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous to just kind of throw acid on your face and not be able to like control the burn. That would be a very stressful situation if you're.
Well, also some acids need to be neutralized and some neutralize themselves. And if you don't know the difference and it burns and you splash water on your face, and it was resorcinol, which is usually a Jesner peel, which is a blend of different acids, you've created a problem.
It's just going to burn
And
again.
I would not recommend that at home, which I didn't see that one on the internet, but I did see 100% TCA chemical peel online, and we only have a 15% in a medical office. Mm-hmm. Now, could you get more under medical license? Yes, but are we going to actually be doing that? No. So you want it to be a little bit more controlled than that.
So I have a good story with that. So even having, again, and at that point I was probably even more familiar with where now, you guys are doing the peels on a daily basis. When I'm getting a peel done, I'm going to them and, talking to them about my immediate, desires or what I want, and they know my skin type. And so I trust that they're going to tell me what peel I want. So I wouldn't even trust getting a peel myself online. But even having said that, we had companies and vendors, and I had one that I started off with. This company actually did a microneedling device and everything, and did products with it. And Marissa knows what I'm talking about, because Marissa and I have known each other for over a decade, almost 15 years now, right? Yeah. And both of us were familiar with this company. At the time I'm learning about peels, probably knew more about the basic different types of peels. Glycolic is a very mild, superficial peel for the most part. And you can have different, strengths of that, 30, 50, 70%. This one in particular had a pH of 1, which they were very proud of. But in fact, that's like pouring, corrosive on your face, right? So it was recommended that I do a mud mask before, which I did, and then started with the lowest peel, and had a weekend off, and had plans the entire weekend. Was looking forward to a weekend off, but on Friday night after working out, I do the peel, little mud mask first, as recommended. And then I do the 30%, which is the most mild of them. And my face immediately is burning. And so I'm neutralizing. This one needs to be neutralized, especially when you have battery corrosive on your face at a pH of 1. You should neutralize that. So, but the neutralizing didn't help. I'm spraying the neutralizer on, but it's still burning. Well, needless to say, I ended up with burns and hypopigmentation in one of my cheeks, which I think is now just about corrected after 4 to 5 years. Because again, of the intense burn, went way deeper than I expected it to. Couldn't leave the house the entire weekend, and had hypopigmentation after. Yeah, no,
right.
It was well into. Yeah, no, it was well into that next week. But I had to work. I was ER at the time and working, and really had to work ER. I couldn't just take off. So again, I have a burned face, I have swollen eyes, there's a lot of things, and you can affect vision with it. So definitely not something I recommend. And I was working directly with a vendor, used it exactly as they recommended. It was a product that, I never used on a patient after, obviously, not even with a mud mask. So again, I would not take the chance. It's not worth the money you may save to non-professionally do that at home and be directed on your own.
Could you imagine if it was 100% TCA?
Yeah. And again, I got one layer on and it immediately burned, and I could never get that burning to stop. So I neutralized, almost probably used the whole bottle of neutralizer, and it just wasn't going to stop burning. And again, a mud mask is probably not a good starting point. It's going to remove, those top layers of dead skin cells. So we'll do dermaplaning a lot of times to just get dead skin cells off and
Scuff that off before the
the
peeling.
superficial fine hairs, which then you're going to have a peel go deeper. And there's certain peels you can do with a dermaplaning, but there's certain peels you would not want to do for that reason, because you don't want it to go deeper. So
And once you do get chemical peels, like how often do you mentioned?
I say
So you said every
every 4 to 6 weeks, somebody should
Something
be doing
every 4 to 6
something.
weeks.
Your skin
According
is
to
going
your
to
lifestyle.
renew. Yeah, that cell turnover is going to be every 26, 28 days. So
And as you age, it gets up to 90. So every 28 days up to 90 days, you want to stimulate so it's closer to the 28 to 30 days. And that's why you want to do things like chemical peels and retinols, and just to keep stimulating cell turnover, so you're constantly building elastin and collagen, so you have smoother, brighter baby skin.
And
Every
not
4
have to
6
get a
weeks, something.
facelift later on.
Yeah, there's so many different things that can prevent any facelift we might need, because we can do microneedling with energy, we can do threads, we can do Photono 4D. So there's so many different options now when we're at a point where we can just prevent, progression. Because again, 1% of collagen loss a year. So if we start at 50, we're 50% down already. So every 4 to 6 weeks, somebody should be doing something to like resurface, stimulate collagen, elastin, fine lines, wrinkles, pore size. But you may need to do a series first that really boosts your collagen level up,
Yes.
and then move to maintenance. And so these girls are great. Instagram, I mean, it's all over the place. Like, you guys have education we didn't, like Forma, microneedling, peels, they're on it. We didn't know.
We need to do a whole
We didn't
other
know.
thing on Forma. We might.
So, yeah.
Going
Delve
back on
into
like
that next
how to figure out what someone
Exactly.
needs, I would always want to know their lifestyle, what they have coming up. Do you have an event coming up? Have you ever had an allergic reaction, or are you sensitive to products? Which ones? I want to know more details, and then plan from there. Is it summertime or is it wintertime? What season are we in, and where are you going? Are you going to be going to the beach soon? Are you going to be out on the lake? I want to custom fit it for you. You may, if you're going to the beach soon or out on the boat a lot, then you may do better with starting just with the red carpet peels or the lower grade peels. And then you could do those once a week. You can do them once every 2 weeks. You just don't want to come directly from the sun and go directly to the sun. Either of that.
I was going to ask about that because it is this perfect time of year here in East Tennessee.
Hard.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely better to do something more mild rather than something a lot more aggressive, and do them a little bit more frequently, and so you kind of build your tolerance a little bit and see how your skin's going to respond. And if you know that you're going to be out on the lake almost every weekend, like, take some time, like, plan it. It's definitely manageable, when it's planned and you're doing it a little bit more mild rather than aggressive, and just building up on that.
And sunscreen.
Always.
I think that's probably
LTMD.
Everything, right,
SPF
everything that
44.
we do, we promote.
probably the bigger conversation
sunscreen.
is doing
Yes.
skincare that's going to sustain results, and to do sunscreen.
Right. And reapplying it, it's not, you can't put it on at 5:00 in the morning and expect to be protected at 5:00 in the evening.
Well, what if you want a tan on your face too?
Oh.
I have friends that'll say, "Oh my gosh, I just want to get some sun on my face."
So it's funny because she was
Still going to get a tan with the sunscreen.
Yeah.
You will get a tan with the sunscreen, but then that's
keep
a
you
whole
from
nother
burning.
conversation that we need to have. Is like melanotan, one of the tanning peptides that you can inject where you have a tan. So that's what I use. Because again, I don't like to be out in the sun because of the aging effects of it. And if you were out in the sun for a short period of time, you'll get a more intense tan than you did without melanotan. But you can do it and have a tan. Like, you're already got a good base. And so you can do a peptide that gets you a tan. And so you can be sitting under your umbrella with an umbrella drink while your friends are all out in the sun, and you're like looking
wait,
good.
okay.
Yeah, you're
Alan,
like,
fill me out.
yeah, exactly.
There's a method to
have
the
a tan by
madness,
next
for sure. Like,
An umbrella drink, a nice tan, and everyone's like, what'd you do, girl? Like, you haven't been out here at all, but you're so tan. And so, again, there's other things you can do to tan, but definitely, I think as much as people want to have a tan, that's a better and safer option and keep your skin nice and healthy. And at the same time, it has health benefits for it. Like that particular peptide is a tanning. I don't think we've ever talked about it before, but again, it tans you. It may increase your sex drive. It may decrease your appetite. So some people will get increased fat metabolism, weight loss, immune support, and they get a nice tan at the same time.
Wow, what's that?
Yeah, exactly. Correct, right?
Did you bring some with you?
I know, right?
Put that in your notes.
That's all I
Where's the
use.
refrigerator?
Yeah. Where is it? We got to have stock Melanotan all the time, right?
Melanotan.
Yeah. So that's another good one. But again, I think starting for like a mild, and again, people should be out of the sun, but you're right. In a realistic world, they want the tan. And so the best way that we can do to like is educate them on the fact that, again, you'll still get some sun, from sunscreen. But you have to wear sunscreen out to just prevent anti-aging, especially once we hit a certain age. It's better to do the peptide and stay out of the sun. But if we were to do like a mild, so advanced, like ours specifically, red carpet peel, maybe a glycolic, or you said the stimulator peel.
From ZO.
The red carpet is the lunch.
That one's great. Just because it brightens
yeah.
so much. And I love the micropeel sensitive with the 2% lactic acid as well. I like them equally but differently. So I just really like that the stimulator peel from ZO Health with the citric acid, glycolic, and lactic blend, you really get more of a brightening effect. But that's just what you need, whatever you need.
And I think, again, any office is going to have different peels. So they may not have the red carpet or the advanced corrective because those are Skinceuticals. They may have something in particular, like it's a TCA. We do a TCA peel where maybe we're doing a 3-step. We can do TCAs as well, but find an office you trust. Talk to them about the issues you're having that you want to see improved, and they should be able to direct you appropriately based on what you want to see improvement with. How often do I have to have that down? Do I have to have that once a week, once every 2 weeks, 6 to 8 of them? How many, and what's my downtime? And that's really a conversation for you. Like, what downtime do you have? Because a lot of people don't have 3 to 5 days, 7 days of downtime.
Right. I'm supposed to
they
be in
want
hiding
more
for 3 to 7 days.
Yeah, it's impossible, right? No,
Yeah.
it's impossible. Like, I will say that I don't know how you guys are, but when I'm peeling, I've gotten used to it where I'm like, yeah, it looks bad now, but it'll look better next week. So because you don't have that
later.
downtime.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You'll love me later.
What about people with rosacea? Is chemical peel?
Yes, they can do
Safe.
chemical peels on lower grade, or at least I would start them off with a lower grade because it's actually going to strengthen their skin. I have seen great improvement with people with rosacea, doing something every 4 to 6 weeks, including IPL, intense pulse light therapy will also help with rosacea and the redness that it causes. I would probably stick in the glycolic or the red carpets at first and then build up to where we need to go from there. But doing one of those at least every 4 to 6 weeks, or if it's the red carpet, as we say, even every 2 weeks. But I've seen great improvements. It's just something that needs to be more consistent because the first one, they may react a little bit, be more red, but it's just going to get better.
And then likewise, if somebody wanted pigment, like more of a pigment issue, and we're talking about a peel as one part of, a treatment plan, what peels would you kind of recommend starting and even progressing to?
For pigment or melasma, I'll kind of put them in a similar category, even though they're a little bit different or can be different. You've got the advanced corrective, but that'll be a little bit strong. I would actually start off with a red carpet first, see where you are, how you react. Make sure that things don't change or you react differently with redness or something. Then I would go to pigment balancing, which is actually 40% glycolic acid. It actually did not burn. I did that one last week, and I'm not feeling right now.
It was not a pH.
It was a week and a half ago. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was pigment balancing from Skinceuticals. It was 40% glycolic acid. It was very nice. But it's under or lower grade than the advanced corrective. Advanced corrective is a Jesner peel, which is a blend that It's a little bit more intense, and it does pull a lot more pigment than the pigment balancing. But according to what you're doing, what your lifestyle is, your sensitivity, I would go from there. Like, which one would I do first? Or which one would I do second? Would I do advanced pigment balancing, or would I jump right into the advanced corrective? And then
it's so individualized.
The 3-step peel has 10%. It's ZO Skin Health. It's a much deeper peel. It's got 10% TCA, 17% lactic acid, and 17% salicylic acid, and then you throw 6% retinol on top of that one. That one is going to be.
I
the paperwork
love
says
that
5 to 7 days. I would say maybe 7 to 9 days of peeling. Everyone's a little different. The first time I peeled, I did for 10 to 12, but now it's more like 7 to 9. So
Now, is there any way to speed up the peeling process? Is it to stay totally away from light and drink a lot of water? Drink a lot of water for everything.
You do want to drink a lot of water. There is a protocol for each one, and each one might be a little bit different. You want to, less is more sometimes in the beginning, and you're not supposed to use any retinols except for in like the 3-step. That's in with the peel. That's a different story. But for probably 7 to 10 days, sometimes longer, according to which one it is, you don't want to do scrubs, peel, retinols, or anything with acid in it to irritate the skin. So you want to be very gentle during that peeling process. However,
Just don't touch your face.
Don't peel it off. Don't peel it off.
I would need to know like details with you before I would tell you other things, because I might say one thing for somebody else, but somebody who had compulsive behavior, Durst, that wants to peel it. Okay.
So I
don't do that.
have
Do not
a
pull it.
little trick without peeling that I would share
Earmuffs.
with you.
Don't even listen to her.
Off the record, but yeah, just
We'll
little
let you be
things.
a
But
patient for
definitely
that one.
never peel. But again, when we get to that like old lady tightness and it's uncomfortable and you're getting ready to peel, then that's when there's some little tricks you can do. But I would not say that officially. It's a Durst trick.
Hyaluronic acid you can use, which binds to water, it hydrates, pulls water into the skin. So that is something that people think sometimes isn't something that's going to hurt their skin. Hyaluronic acid is going to be something that you can use during the peeling process. So it's just going to hydrate more. You want to keep something on your skin, and it keeps something on your lips, because when you do stronger peels, even when we put something to moisturize your lips before, protect your lips before we start to peel, while you're peeling, your lips are still going to get a little sensitive, even though we didn't put the peel on them, especially the corners. So there's certain things that we would talk about to make sure that you're aware of, that spicy foods may burn the corner of your mouth more, or, not to get a giant Subway sandwich or something to eat, because there's always a chance of cracking the corner of your lip. That is something I'm not really concerned with, but if I don't tell you, guess what's going to happen?
It's going to happen.
So there's so many details, but at the same time, simplicity is best.
Listening to you girls, Marissa and Meredith have a lot of knowledge on this, as you can tell by listening to them, right? I mean, there's a lot of specifics to this. So as a patient, you coming in, I think it's very important to go in with, let me go in and get the information. I'm not going to walk in. I may get a peel that day. I may not get a peel that day, but I need to know what are my less invasive options and what are my, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get this, and it's the time of, yes, you can plan it. It's the time of year that these things might happen, because your downtime is different. But I think if you go to the right place, RMD, and then you get the correct information and you time it properly, I think it's the best way to do it, because there's so many different options that you can give your patients, and I think that's very important.
Right, and it's about
jumping the gun
building
and
relationships
trying to,
too.
Like jump hoops, can do more harm than good. Oh well, I'm not going to tell her I used retinol yesterday, but you did use retinol, or
not
you're going
good.
to the lake in 2 days, but I'm not going to say that because I want my skin to look better. That's not.
Yeah, very important to be
not the way
upfront and honest with them.
Yes,
because it's important.
It's we will figure it out when we see the reaction.
Yeah,
it's about building relationships too, getting to know you and your skin, so we can make the best judgment call on what's going on and what you have upcoming and how your skin has been reacting to your products.
Yep.
So.
lots of different, facts, and lots of things to tie into a treatment plan, but so that it works best for you. But so anyhow, so we got a little bit on, the chemical peels and the various strengths, and there's so many details. But again, it's great at turning your skin over, getting it looking fresh and bright, and decrease fine lines and wrinkles and pigment and all that. So
Porcelain.
if
I'm
there,
envious.
I know, right?
well, soon then
Both of them.
if you have any comments, I definitely know people will have experiences with peels they want to share, just like mine. And so please do comment, share, like, subscribe. Let us know what you want to hear more about. Again, we're here to talk about anything aesthetics and wellness. And at Revitalize MD, we're here to revitalize your look, your health, and your sex life. So thank you for joining.